So guess what, friends? We are on full decluttering mode. We are doing an extreme declutter because we're moving from a flat into a van. We're going to show you the process of what we're going through step by step. Maybe you'll find some helpful tools that you can take for your own decluttering. So if you're moving to go traveling, or if you're moving house, or if you just want to get rid of unwanted items, or if you just don't know what to do with so much stuff that you've got in your house or in your flat. Hopefully this is going to be useful for you as well. So let's downsize our household belongings together. Hey guys, this is Jenny and Ryan. Welcome to the channel.
Hi guys.
And together
we're the Mayor
Smiths. As you know, we're moving from a flat into a van and everything must go. Most things need to go. We have a weight limit on the van, so we just need to be careful. And we found some very, very useful tips on how to declutter your clothes, how to declutter room by room. And we're going to give you some of the ideas that are working for us, but I will show you the process as well. So the first thing we believe is important, and from what we've researched from other people that have decluttered, done an extreme declutter, is that you have to prepare to travel, you have to prepare to have that mindset. So you have to have that mindset where it's not just about getting rid of stuff, it's about being practical and what you need. So these things that you're going to keep, these things that you're going to take on the road like we are, or whether you're moving from house to house, these things are going to be helping you, and they're, rather than holding you back. So with mindset in mind, so being mindful that we need to declutter, that we need to downsize, we are going to detach ourselves, or try to detach ourselves as much as possible from the items that we own. So that's another thing we're going to do. We're going to take it room per room. So we're going to go into the living room first, then we're going to go into the bedroom, and then we're going to go into the kitchen. That way it doesn't feel like such an overwhelming task. We can go room per room, and like I said, putting things in piles, making sure that we're getting everything out in an organized, so we don't want everything to be a mess, but going room per room is useful, is less stressful because you're not doing everything at once, and you can have some sort of system where you're doing things in order, and it can be fun. You can make it fun, you can bring snacks. We're doing this for us because we want to be better, because obviously we won't have as much space, but also because we don't want to collect more stuff. We want to be a little bit more minimalist. Obviously we're not going to carry one spoon each because that's just a bit too extreme. So without going to that extreme, we do want to go from having stuff around that I haven't touched in a few months or something, to have things that are going to be useful when we go traveling, things that are going to be useful when we're in the road. How can we stay safe? How can we stay warm? How can we stay entertained, motivated? So all those things need to help us to feel better, to do what we need to do. Once we get rid of all the stuff that we are not keeping, that we're not bringing with us, then what we'll do is we'll have categories. We'll have labels on things. So if we are packing, for example, if we're putting everything away, or if we're just having it in different cupboards, we're going to be just putting labels so that we know where everything is. When it's time to move everything from the flat to the van, we're ready, we're absolutely ready. If we label everything, it helps us. Once we get into the van, it's we're going to have a period of time where we're not going to, whilst we do all the work for the van, we're not going to have access to all this stuff, or not easily access to all this stuff. So it's a way of us being organized in advance. So for example, if we need to go and pull something for Marley, from Marley's box, we know exactly where it is. There are these boxes that I would love to get for our cupboards. So just to show you, this is kind of the idea that we have for the van build. We love the colors, we love the style of it, but when we actually have the measurements and we know where things are going to go, and we actually have the visual of what the van or the space that we're going to have in the van is, then we'll be looking into how do we organize all the cupboards nice and neat. And we're thinking of these boxes. These boxes are really, really pretty. They are great to organize stuff. It looks nice and neat. So when you open cupboards, rather than having a messy cupboard, you will have a nice organized space. Obviously the boxes that we choose, they need to be light. Everything that we buy from now on, we're thinking about, okay, it has to be light. Everything that we buy from now on, it has to be light, it has to save us space, and it has to not be very heavy. So we try to make decisions based on what we both like. Obviously there are things that we each buy because we just like them. Obviously as people, we are still two individual people, but we do try to make decisions when it comes to our home or where we are going to be living as a unit, as a couple, just to make sure that we both are happy with it. Now, one thing that I'm very, very scared to even think about is my bookshelf. So I've been wanting a library for forever. I've always wanted a library, and now I've got a bookshelf with all my books on it. I don't know. I think that's probably, for me, that's going to be one of the most painful and hard things to do. So we've started with the living room, and we've emptied pretty much all the cupboard space, all the drawers. So we have put everything in piles so that it's easier to manage. We have a pile for stationery, and we have a pile for home stuff and personal stuff. We've got all the stationery here, and we're just going to go through everything just to see what to keep and what not. I've got some books that I need to take to the library and my paper for work. Like I said, so I've got some resistant bands there that I think I'm going to keep because they're quite light and it's a good alternative to fitness. These are things that are still in the box, as you can see. A quad lock for a bike, and that can be sold. I'm sure that you've got bits like that laying around. All right, so now clothes. With my clothes, I'm going to go through, so categorize them first, like we said, and then just think, how do I feel? Have I worn this for a while? If I haven't worn it for a while, what I'm going to do is I'm going to potentially put it on a pile where I'm going to try it. We stayed at my granny's for a few days, and I realized that there were items that I hadn't worn in a while. So some of the items that I took with me, I actually put them on a trial. I wore them on the day, and I assessed how I felt with them on. So were they helping me to feel powerful? Were they helping me to feel confident? You know, those extra bits that we have, well, I know they have to go, and I am going to be working on those extra bits. But again, let's be honest, life goes up and down. So if an item is right now making me feel ugly, fat, or not loving myself enough, it's gonna go. So if I wear these trousers, for example, I love the color. I honestly love this blue. I think this blue is amazing. It's a very nice blue. I absolutely love it. I think it's gorgeous. It's a lovely blue. I love stitch. But I would potentially prefer this color in a top, in a blouse, in a shirt. The look that I'm going to go for, I need to wear potentially more pastel, blacks, whites, colors. But I really like color, as you can see. After my teens, my 20s, I decided to step into a more colorful way of dressing. Not to an extreme, but I still like to add color. This shirt, for example, I feel really good in it. When I looked at myself in the camera, I don't quite like when I'm looking back at the videos, but I find it really comfortable, and it's nice to wear, and I feel comfortable and I feel good when I'm out and about with it. So I'm definitely keeping it. So that's one decision made. As for the trousers, I'm going to put them into the trial pile. So I'm going to give them one more go, because obviously we've got some weeks to make a decision on and this is a tip that we got from one of the YouTube channels on decluttering, and I thought that's such a good tip. Just like with everything in life, your clothes, your items, everything that you own should help you to feel better, to feel great about yourself. What do you guys think of this shirt? I quite like the color. It's really nice. It's a really nice color. I think it makes any person stand out. Not for the wrong reasons, but for the right reasons. It just adds a bit of fun. It makes me, when I wear it, I just feel like, you know, I've put a little bit of effort. I've put a little bit of color. So you can see I don't often wear a lot of makeup anyways. I just put a little bit of makeup, but I do some nice accessories, a nice pair of trousers with it. So it's definitely a keeper. But tell me in the comments, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think of colors? Do you normally go for colorful clothes, or not so colorful, or more traditional look? What's your style? Pajamas. That's a bit of a gray area, because I love pajamas. I love comfortable pajamas, fleecy pajamas. But it's quite nice and comfortable, and it's quite nice. It's easy to wear when it's not so cold. Whilst we are going to be traveling in the UK, the whole of the UK and Europe in the next few months, is going to be potentially really, really cold. So I'm not sure. I'm gonna put it in there to assess pile. Okay, and now we've got yet another shirt. As you can see, I love my shirts. They're really nice. This one's a nice creamy color. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's probably, you cannot really see it properly on the camera, but it's a nice creamy color. It's not white, it's cream, with a nice set of accessories. I quite like this shirt. What do you guys think? Tell me in the comments. But you know, a nice necklace or a nice piece of earrings, my watch. It looks nice, and I just think it looks professional. It looks classic. I quite like this one, so I'm going to go yes in the yes pile. I'm definitely going to keep it. But tell me, what do you think? Do you prefer this one, or do you prefer the blue one? Color, classic. What do you prefer? And what about this one? So this is a little nice top, bit flowery, nice color. So maybe for a date night, night out. I've worn this with a pair of black jeans and some cute trainers, because I love my trainers. If you know me, comfort, it's quite high on my priority list. Oh, and this one, it's a nice little top. It's quite practical. It doesn't look like much, but again, do you remember I told you I like this color? Yeah, so this is a nice, easy, very easy top to wear. So if it's not really cold, or even if it's cold, I can just wear it under a nice jumper. But if where are we? We're in autumn, coming winter, in springtime, maybe that will be very handy, especially in the van. It's not very special, but it's nice and practical, and it makes me feel good, and it makes me feel like I'm ready. I've made an effort, and I can accessorize it nicely. So it's just easy to wear. So it's definitely going to the to keep pile. But yeah, guys, there is a lot to think about with clothing, with so many things. We don't know how much stuff we're gonna keep. We initially said, I thought that we were gonna keep one luggage, but I think that's not enough. It depends on the weight. If it comes to it, we'll have a second stage. But in the meantime, we want to just get as lean as we can, and then be as ready for this van life as possible. We are in the process of getting the van. It's proven to be a little bit more difficult because of some logistics that we need to sort. We still need to sell our car, and that's not selling, although it's a really nice car, and we're gonna be so sad to see it go. But we can't keep a car and a van. I'm in the process of getting my driving license, because I still haven't. I've passed my theory a few times. Shamefully, I have to admit, I've passed my theory 4 times already, and I haven't passed my practical. I've failed it like I think two times or 3 times, which is ridiculous, but I just get really panicky under pressure. So anyways, I need to go back to that process, into doing my theory, which is coming up, and once I get that, then obviously pass my practical, and I'll be able to drive the van as well. Because obviously it's too much driving, and Ryan, is not fair. It's not fair that he does all the driving. We both have this project, so we both have to share the responsibilities and what we have to do for it. We're selling the oak unit, we're selling the sofas, we're selling one of the Macs. So we are trying to sell most of the bulky items, even if we don't get a lot of money for them, but at least they'll go to a good home, and then anything that we get will go directly into the van, and anything to do with the van build, because we've noticed, we've come to realize it can be quite expensive. So obviously all the electrics, what comes next when we get the van is the electrics, the insulation. So we can't even put a bed until we get all those bits sorted. But that's going to be a bit of work and a bit of money as well. So yeah, so we're in the process of doing that, but we just want to be ready for when we get the van, when we start doing the van build, we can just be ready and get all our stuff. Yeah, so we get all our stuff organized, and we've downsized as much as we can so that we are able to fit in the van. What are some of the things that you have found useful when you've decluttered your flat or your house? And if you have done a moving into a van, going from a flat or a house into a van, what were the things that you found useful? We would love to know. We're in this journey together to learn together. Please like and subscribe. We're very, very grateful to have you in this journey with us. And thank you so much for watching. Isn't it, Miss? Yes, yes. And we'll see you on the next video. I'm going to chill here with my miss, because we've had breakfast, we've done our filming, and now is chill time for a bed. Hey friends!
Thank you so much for watching, and please join us next week for our part 2. Sorry I wasn't in the video a little bit this week, but I've just come back from Portugal.
And you had an injury.
And I had a knee injury too, so from football. And plus Jenny can be a bit more organised when it comes to setting things up and organising and decluttering. And Marley, of course, Marley's help. But I will definitely see you next week. Please like, share and subscribe, and see you next week.